The more she neglected me, the stronger was my feeling of what I called, for want of a better word, love. Standing around by the gate at night, spending all my money on stupid presents, creating unmanly scenes if I met her. That was my style. But then I was truly alive. No joy I ever experienced ran as deep as the pain, the exulting humiliation of knowing I was lost for the love of her, and that she didn't care for me. Is that what you call love? What do you think of these words of Mihai? It was around 3:50 when I heard my mother's escalating cries. She called me a few times for lunch, and then the decibels reached a new peak. I was juggling 2 other books and 1 more for my book club. Yet, for the past few days, this pretty little book has persistently drawn my attention. A couple of times, I nearly snatched it from its resting place, once to hide it, and another time to abandon my other reads and devote myself entirely to it. More than 30 pages in, I was relieved I gave in to this temptation. If I gathered all my annotations from this book so far and categorized them, the themes would be friendship, love, marriage, and death. Let's begin with death, shall we? "Why do you drink so much?" he asked. "Well, it's fun." "You like the dizzy feeling?" "Of course." "And the loss of consciousness?" "It's one thing I really do like." "Well then, imagine how much better it would be to die." Not stopping there, Mihai and Thomas continue their conversation. "I have got 30 centigrams of morphine here. I reckon it would do for the 2 of us." These characters are no older than 16. Not unusual for teenagers to discuss death, you might think. But they didn't just talk, they attempted. In just 4 chapters, the book reveals at least 4 deaths. The Alpia's grandfather died. He struggled for air, his throat rattled. Eva nursed him with surprising patience. I remarked how good it was of her. She smiled and said how interesting it was to watch someone die. Like what I just read, death, both in words and actions, is depicted with such a casual tone in this book. Moving on now, what is a good book without interesting characters? And this book had given me some odd ones. As one example, let me introduce Janos. He barges into the scene on a motorbike, insults Mihai in the presence of his wife, doesn't spare the wife either, and leaves with no less drama. So now you can clear off Janos Repetniki. I hope I don't set eyes on you again for a good few years. I read these words and immediately used them in a conversation with my friend. "I'm going. Your wife, by the way, is a thoroughly repulsive woman." "Who says that?" "Pay for my lemonade," he shouted and vanished into the darkness. Can I be that friend? Not the one who pays, but the one who leaves and asks for the bill to be paid after blowing several insults. That's just one of the 4 friends our narrator describes. It's time to introduce Thomas and his sister Eva. They didn't receive money from their father, so Thomas and Eva's dreams of becoming a playwright and an actress faced significant obstacles. Their only financial support came from their generous housekeeper. Eva, however, found alternative ways, selling antiques and even dabbling in theft. What did they need the money for? Money for them did not exist. All they knew was the certainty that without those pretty bits of paper and bronze crowns, they couldn't go to the theatre. With no access to newspapers, no interest in the ongoing war, a deceased mother, and a father whom they both despised, they were considered odd by their classmates. Interesting characters, aren't they? Now let's move to the much anticipated topic of LOVE. She was the most beautiful girl I have ever seen. No, that isn't quite right. She was the one beautiful woman against whom I have since measured all the others, myself included, asks poor Ursi, Mihai's wife. Yes, he confirms. Imagine being in Italy with your husband who rants about a girl he claims he was never in love with, then delivers these speeches. It's only for want of a better word that I call what I felt for her love. That feeling wasn't in the least like the feeling I have for you. In a way, it was quite the reverse. I love you because you're part of me. I love Diva because she wasn't. What do you think? Was he in love? Certainly he was. And he even elaborates on that later in chapter 4, with which we began this letter. And the book in question? Journey by Moonlight by Antal Serb, and you should consider giving it a try. Best wishes, Broadingbrook, to the Fig Tree, London, 1960, from the book The Island of Missing Trees.